后呢？然后关键问题是什么？我在哪儿播放资料啊？因为这样子的后面的背景肯定是反的吧？
不能，看一下，是修改是什么？
不用修改，看一下这是啥？这是不能搞的吗？它需要，这是聊天的内容。你看，
不能投屏的，录屏。
啊，你说这个投屏啊？
就是录你的屏幕嘛。你现在是摄像头吗？
是啊。
不使用摄像头就录屏是不是？录制你的屏幕。可以去修改。
嗯。
不是。语言选一下。
啥玩意儿啊？
语言，它可以播，到时候变成英文字幕。
那用英文呗。
你用了什么语言就用什么语言，字幕你去选英文、中文。
用英文吧，我也尽量说英文，好吧？哪儿去了？看不着英文啊？
刚才好像看到了。
把并波地俄语法语没看着。USA 没有看，我这眼神都不好使。没看着。英语。这个吧。
字幕认证要不要？从未在美国媒体上播出过。标题是语言。
标题什么玩意儿？
选个英语了。过了。英语。添加录制播公案可以按地点搜索直播。
这就不用了吧？
这不用了，关键是。
那好像他还是不能够。
对，不能选的。
不能够。
是自定义。
哎，刚才那个保存一下子吧。没有啊。看看能不能看字幕，应该看能不能看清楚。
这个摄像头蒙了不行。怎么调？ 百度说一下。透过 YouTube 直播如何电脑画面，看一下。
今晚我想买点Subway，
看看他怎样
蔬菜全家
这个播放这个材料。
各位好，因为假设我们现在的课程，YouTube 的话一点点，那如果你给他所出的4.0封闭直接下载，那我已经装好了哈。下载的时候啊，一开始他会先给你。
他这个播的都是，你看那个后边那不行，播的还是我电脑的。
那肯定啊，你要把它关下来嘛，你把它最小化就得了。
最小化，把它最小化，然后呢，把它最小化，
最小化了。
然后你看一看你那儿能不能看着这个内容，就是我播的内容，看一下啊。你在你那儿找到我。哎，这也是正的哦。哎，它这个挺好啊，这是正的。但是你在你那上找到我，看看我现在直播的内容，看能不能看到正的。
这叫什么名字？那个频道是什么？那个 channel， 那个 channel 是什么？
哪个 channel？
你的频道的 channel，YouTube channel。
俄罗斯的吧？不是
什么？
不是
你那个不是频道嘛？肯定有个频道名称。
哪一个频道啊？
你应该是就是你这个，你点上你头有个频道名称，搜一下 Edward。
你就搜一下 Edward Shaw。有了。看一下。
哪有啊 ？Live 啊。
看看那里面看到的英文字是正的是反？哎，正的哦。
没问题的，你调一下，能看到英文字，能看到英文字。
这是好像，哎，我的头挡着，我只能在看上面这一段。你能放大了行吗？我只能
还不够大。
不是，现在的问题关键的用我的头挡着字啊。
那你就做歪点。差不多可以。
这么黑呀？
摄像头严总，哎，你亮。什么东西？收到了，我在处理了，这几天在处理。哦。哦。
This is a course on the English version of China Civil Code.
而且你现在都2审了，还怎么转？没法转。要转的时候也是1审转了。他管辖的问题呢，你是被告所在地嘛，要转就去深圳嘛。但是从深圳法院是可以管。
哎，这个效果还不错啊。
行了，知道了。反正这几天呢，都已经起草好了，我再商量一下这个内部的商量，起草就先起草好。好，这2天吧。行，是没问题。
但是就是有一个问题，那个影像啊，我特别黑。
没办法，因为你是后面光，肯定前面的你就不能曝光太多。就最好的就是装一个软件，它就专门录屏。但是我现在还不会弄，但网上有人教会。
你把这个东西学会，
一时半刻我还弄不会。
Where there is no agreement among the co-owners or the relevant agreement is unclear as to whether the co-owned movable or movable property is under co-ownership by shares or under joint co-ownership. The movable or movable property shall be deemed under co-ownership by shares unless the co-owners are in a familial relationship or the like. 上一次我们上课就上到这儿，是吧？
装一个 OBS。
那个，
怎么搞？
林律师，
要装一个 OBS 软件。
OBS Studio，
你的播放源这个录屏的一个工具。
聊一天了，就跟我商量要。
还是这个清楚一些。就你把这镜头调整好。哎，它咋还歪头呢？林律师，你看行吗？就是把整个这个显示屏都照到，能看到吗？我头挡不挡？
就是右下角一点几行字，
就这右下角是吧？然后上面这部分，这个都能看到是吧？这儿也没问题是吧？这儿也没问题是不是？
整个屏都可以看到。
所以关键是我头挡到多少？
就是右下角的1/3，就最后2、3行字。最后就309这一行，就是最后几行的
开头这个地方是吧？
对，
可以。你看一下那个效果怎么样？可以是吧？
没有，再慢慢弄。 不太会搞，
还是有点挡。
你这没办法的这种。其实最好就是直接录这个屏幕，要装到 OBS，
是吧？
我们那回头再慢慢研究，我也不太。
慢慢研究，你就把这个事研究好了，
是吧？
我们就可以做一个 international live lessons， 是吧？就是你脸那么黑，这个字能看清楚是吧？
其实还有个办法，就是你直接拿手机打开这个 YouTube 做播放。
这手机我这手机做不了啊。
你手机没装那个软件吗？
没装那个，没有、
啊、
没有装。
用手机就可以了。
哎，这里面可不可以抽烟呢？
没听说不可以吧？
那还是不抽的好。你就先是看，哎。
其实也没关系的，虽然放上去看不清，但是
这个
你可以在那个简介那里啊，就是上面简介发这个 PDF 的链接在这里嘛，那别人就去下载就行了。
这能有 PDF 的？
不是你这个文件呢，就是不是网上人大网上下载的吗？
但是我们都修改了。
你修改那里就放到网盘那里去了。放到网盘就人家就可以下载。用一个网盘。
我看你播放着，因为我要看这个东西能不能，就是这个文字是不是能看到？你如果我这头一直挡着，这就有问题了。我侧过来一点可能就好一点。
拉后一点。
哎，拉后一点是吧？拉后一点，我看着还费劲呢。
那得放大点，那就看就是那个放大点。
字变大，你的意思？
你应该是字变大。
字变大是吧？
字变大。
字变大和打字有什么关系？
其实也难看的，也难看。
20吧。这个可以吗？
差不多。没关系的，你照讲你的就行了。是不是？谁密密麻麻也没几个人愿意看，一大堆字。
我看一下啊，你往那边一点，就是怕那里面闪光，人家看不到，你看不见字。你看着点这个东西，能看清楚。现在效果怎么样？好像中间
你遮住了。遮住了。
遮住了相当一部分，是不是？
对。
那是不行，把这电脑垫起来点儿。
我就在刚才就错过了用了，就刚才那个。
你把你的电脑拿过来。
我给本书里
拿2本厚的书。
我给本书。我给书那里。
在我那里就找。
在那里有很多。
声听为古道边，芳草碧连天。看看这回怎么样？这个应该好一点，因为角度它不是从下往上照，不是从下高一点了。你来看一下，看一下你那儿。
歪的，歪的。
嗯。
你能看到的啊，你那个。
把你的电脑翻过来，我先看着不就知道了，我就知道该怎么做了。对，这就不对了。哎，这回应该可以了，只挡住一个角。你这块呢？
也是差不多挡住
这一个角。
最后2行，对。
是吧？不行，不行。可以。还是立起来点儿好一点嘛，是不是？
没有好，
也可以。
可以了，就这样。
可以了是吧？嗯。
开始呗，
7点了。
给你帮你律师打包了。
我已经打了，没给你打包。
没有。
刘律师吩咐了，这小刘没吩咐我。
那你不用吃。还在路上是不是？很堵车。学习真拼命啊！
这里面的效果怎么样？
看到屏幕是看得到，但是看得有侧脸一点。
不用，主要是看显示屏。
显示屏可以。
我的脸只照半边还是整个脸？
刚刚一个头。
差就是
挡住了这个耳朵。
现在可以看到。
现在呢？现在可以了。
这样子是全部的。要不要再一个？
上国际媒体了。
International。
让司法去找麻烦。
那没办法，因为他们那个什么好多人都在这上有，我见了。
是中国？广东还是？
是啊，好多的电视台呀，什么乱七八糟都有。
那是官方的嘛？
官方可以。对
啊，你是个人嘛？
个人不可以。
你又不是州官。
给刘律师打一个电话，问问他，好好坐着，站着干嘛？
我刚吃饱了，我老坐着。
这个都转一圈了。
我腰带都顶住了，这吃饱。
Okay, now let's begin our class. Let's come to the Article 309. The share of a co-owner by shares in the immovable or movable property shall be determined according to his capital contribution, where there is no agreement or the relevant agreement is unclear. where it is impossible to determine the amount of capital contribution, each co-owner by shares shall be entitled to an equal share. And here we have a co-ownership. In Chinese law, co-ownership can be classified into two kinds. The first one is co-ownership by shares. The second one is joint co-ownership, right? Joint co-ownership. And the share of a co-owner by shares, that means how much percent, the percentage of a co-owner by shares in a movable or movable property shall be calculated on the capital contribution, capital contribution means if two co-owners have invested in a movable or movable property, and the price he paid, the money he spent in the thing, okay, this is his capital contribution, means how much money he spent in this property, okay? And where there is no agreement or relevant agreement is unclear, means as to when there is no agreement or such agreement is unclear as to how much share a co-owner possesses or owns in this movable or immovable property. Okay, and sometimes when the co-owners do not know how many shares they have in this co-owned property, and it is a problem to solve to determine how much percentage or shares in this property each co-owner will have. Okay, and so this, first of all, we should consider whether they have an agreement or not. Okay, that means the shares are not calculated always by the capital contribution each has made. Okay, and when they have an agreement, okay, the agreement shall be applied to determine the shares in a property for each of those co-owners. Or so when there is no such agreement, or when such agreement is unclear as to the shares each owner possesses in the immovable or movable property. Okay, so it can be translated when there is no agreement, or when there is no agreement as to the shares each co-owner owns in a property, or when such an agreement is unclear to this point, and then these shares shall be determined pro rata to his capital contribution, means how much money he spent in that in that property to gain the title, the ownership. Okay. Okay, and so according to his contribution, according to his capital contribution, we should change it to pro rata to his capital contribution. Okay, it means the money he spent in the total price of the property they used to buy this property, right? Where it is impossible to determine the amount of capital contribution. Okay, each co-owner by shares shall be entitled to an equal share or have the same. We may say 50-50. Okay, 50-50. Where means when it is impossible to determine how much money each of those co-owners has spent in getting the ownership of the property, and then the law should deem that each of the co-owners should have the same shares or equal shares. Okay, and this is but you know, this share is different from this one. This shares means the percentage of ownership, right? And here, this equal share means they should share the property. Means they have the equally calculated shares. Okay, should know this now. Okay, Article 310. The relevant provisions of this chapter shall be applied mutatis mutandis to the situations where two or more organizations or individuals are jointly entitled to a right to usufruct or a security interest. The relevant provisions of this chapter shall be applied mutatis mutandis. Mutatis mutandis to the situations means they can be applied but not absolutely the same. Okay, to the situation where two or more organizations or individuals are jointly entitled to a right to usufruct. Usufruct means what? To make use of, to utilize the property, or security interest. Security interest means what? Okay. Okay.
来吃饭。
Okay. 辛苦您了。
这是
我们刘律师是特别能干。
特别能战斗。特别能吃苦。
The relevant provisions of this chapter shall be applied mutatis mutandis to the situations means, and just now we've been talking about the shares of the property or the shares of the title, the ownership. Okay, and in every property we have the right to usufruct or a security interest, and sometimes it is also difficult to determine all those provisions in this chapter. Okay, can be used to determine or to provide the conducts related to the rights, the right to usufruct or security interest. Okay. The relevant provisions of this chapter shall be applied mutatis mutandis, not only to the title or the ownership of a property, but also can be used to provide conducts related to related rights or interest in property. Okay. Article 311, Chapter 9. Special provisions on the acquisition of ownership. And first of all, we've got to learn this word. Acquisition of ownership means how you gain the ownership or the title of a property. We've got to wait for Ms. Liu. 上厕所了是吧？Special provisions on acquisition of ownership means how to gain the ownership or the title of a property. Where a person with no right to dispose of immovable or movable property transfer it to another person, the owner has the right to recover it. The owner, when a person with no right to dispose of immovable or movable property, to transfer it to another person, transfer the to dispose mean to do something in law to a property, immovable or movable, the same. Okay, transfer it. Okay, with no right. With no right to dispose a thing. Okay, but when he transfers it, means when this person has no right to transfer, but he transfers it to another person, the owner has the right to recover it. Means to recover means this conduct to dispose the transference of the title of a property is null and void. It's null and void. The owner has the right to recover it means even though the title or the ownership is really changed to another person, but the conduct, the person who transfers it has no right to do so, and the owner has the right to change it back. Okay, unless otherwise provided by law. The transferee acquires the ownership of the immovable or movable property under the following circumstances. Here we have one thing that is we call when a person has no right to dispose of a property. This person has no right to dispose, to transfer, but transfers it to another person. The owner has the right to get back the ownership of the property. Okay, or what we call recovery. Unless otherwise provided by law, unless otherwise provided by law, otherwise provided law means when the law provided other way, okay, the other way, the transferee acquires the ownership of the immovable property or movable property under the following circumstances. Just now we said that the buyer means the transferee. Who is the transferor? The person with no right, right? Okay. But the transferee means the buyer acquires the ownership of the property under the following circumstances. Under the following circumstances.
All the following circumstances. Only one.
Under the following circumstances. Means under following circumstances, the ownership cannot be recovered to the original, right? Yeah. Cannot be recovered. First, the transferee is in good faith at the time when the immovable or property or movable property is transferred to him. Means when he buys it, he does not know that the seller has no right to dispose it.
Yes.
Okay? Okay? In good faith. In good faith.
Good faith.
At the time when the movable or when he purchases the property. The second, the transfer is made at a reasonable price. At a reasonable price. Under the following circumstances. 把那个中文读一下。
第三个。
不是3，就把上面那句。
transfer
把中文
合理的价格转让。
不是这一段，上面
第一啊。
不是一上面这段 ，unless 除非法律另有规定。
除非法律另有规定外，符合以下情形的受让人取得该不动产或动产的所有权。
就最重要的那词我没听清楚，把刚才那再读一下。
除法律另有规定外，符合以下情形的受让人取得该不动产或动产的所有权。就他上意取得了，就是。
把那中文给我看一下。
练的那么标准。
不是，我现在看一下。
受让人嘛 ，transferee acquires the ownership。
Under the following circumstances means all those circumstances added up together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, okay. Not under any of the following circumstances, but all those circumstances added up together. Everything should be there, and then this is a circumstance that allows the purchaser guess the title of the property, right? Yeah. The first one, the transferee is in good faith at the time. In good faith means he doesn't. You may just sit there, and it doesn't matter. Okay. 找不到他。
就是
Okay. The transferee is in good faith at the time. That means he does not know the seller has no right to dispose. Right? Okay. He may believe that the seller is the owner or the owner's representative, agent, right? Okay. And the second one, the transfer is made at a reasonable price, means the seller, the buyer paid a reasonable price. Okay. He has a good faith and the price is reasonable. And the next one, the transferred immovable or movable property has been registered as required by law. That means what? When it is an immovable property, the law requires the transfer of the title or the ownership should be registered. Without registration, there is no change, no alteration of the title or ownership of the property, right? Okay, this the transferred immovable or movable property has been registered as required by law. And can you imagine what kind of movable property the law requires it to be registered when the property is the ownership is changed? I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine. The transferred immovable or movable property has been registered as required by law, or has been delivered to the transferee where the registration is not required. When the law does not require the transference of the title should be registered, and then when the possession is changed, when the possession is changed means delivery has been delivered to the transferee, means the buyer has taken or has a legal possession of the transferred property. Okay, and here we have two situations. The first one is when the law requires the transference of the title of a property, whether it is movable or immovable, should be registered. And then it is registered. Okay? Or when the law does not require the transference of the title be registered, when it is delivered, and then the buyer gets the title or ownership of the property. Okay, where a transferee acquires the ownership of the movable property or immovable or immovable property in accordance with the provisions of the preceding paragraph, the original owner has the right to claim damages against the person who disposes of the property without a right. Now we're talking about let's come back. Special provisions on the acquisition of ownership. The first, this is how to gain the ownership of a property. Okay, and the first thing is here: when the person who disposes, who sells the immovable or movable property to another person, okay, when you do not have the right to dispose a thing, but you did dispose it, and then the owner has the right to recovery, to get the ownership or the property itself back, right? But in following circumstances, even though the seller does not have the right to dispose the property, the buyer or the transferee will gain the property, the ownership or the title of the property. Okay, unless otherwise, unless the law provides differently. The transferee acquires the ownership of the immovable property under following circumstances, and here we have 3, but the law requires the 3 of them should exist at the same time, right? Simultaneously exist. Okay, the first one, the transferee, means the buyer is in good faith at the time when he buys the property. Means he does not know that the seller does not have the right to dispose it. Okay, he may believe that the seller is the owner, or the seller has the right to represent the owner. Okay, the second one, the transfer is made at a reasonable price, means the buyer buys it with a reasonable price. He paid enough. Okay, that means when you buy something in a very cheap price, that means you're not in a good faith. You understand me? You understand me? Let's say, suppose this is a pack of cigarettes, and normally it is 50 RMB. Okay, normally 50 RMB, and you knows it. Okay, and so I'm selling it to Mr. Liu that you may just pay 10 RMB. That means this price is far from reasonable, right? And so this indicates that you're not you're not in a good faith, right? Okay. Okay. And the next situation is that the next condition. These are all the conditions, right? The first one is good faith. The second one is reasonable price. The third one is delivery. We may just degenerate it into delivery. What is delivery for immovable property? The law requires the immovable property's transference of title should be registered, right? Okay, but that is the true delivery, right? And that the law requires the change or the alteration of the title of a immovable property should be registered in the authority, at the authorities, right? But when it is a property where the law does not require it to be, where the law does not require its transference of ownership be registered, okay? When it is delivered, it is okay, the ownership is changed, right? Okay. Where a transferee acquires the ownership of the immovable or movable property in accordance with the provisions of the preceding paragraph, where the transferee means the buyer, okay? The buyer acquires the ownership of this property. under the above mentioned conditions, right? These three combined together make a condition, right? This is the condition when a person does not have the right to dispose a property, selling it to the transferee, means the buyer, okay? Okay, but where a transferee acquires the ownership of a movable or movable property in accordance with the provisions of the preceding paragraph, means this buyer gains the ownership of the property under the situations, under the conditions above mentioned. The original owner will not have the right to recover the ownership, right?
Yeah.
He lost the right to recover the ownership. But he has the right, the original owner has the right to claim damages against the person who disposes of the property without a right, means the seller, right? Okay. Article 309, 309. Did you get it? Yes, you. Without a property, and where a party acquires in good faith a real right other than ownership, the provisions of the preceding two paragraphs shall be applied. Mutatis mutandis. And here, when it is not the title of a property, but a real right, means a kind of right in the property. Okay? What rights the people may have in a thing. Possession. Okay? Usufruction. Okay? And benefit from it. Okay? And disposition. Right? We have all the rights here. The first one is what kind of rights we have in a thing. The first one is possession, right? And usufruct. Usufruct. So okay, usufruct. And then do we have another word to say benefit from it? Okay. Benefit it from it and dispose. Z. Correct. This. Do we have another word? Okay. When just now we have all those rules here. Okay. The relevant provisions of this chapter about the things, the property, can also be used, can be applied mutatis mutandis when the subject matter is not a property, but a right or interest in a property, right? And here we also say that the ownership, how to acquire the ownership, how to gain the ownership, we should use all those rules. But here, when we talk about those rights of possession, usufruct, benefit, and disposition, these rules should also be applied mutatis mutandis. Okay? And here the preceding two paragraphs. The preceding means the last two. The preceding two paragraphs means the last two paragraphs. You all understand me, right? 刘律师，我这么讲可以吗？可以啊，你可以跟是吧？不懂没关系的，你要跟，你光看不行啊，你要争取听懂，因为我们总用中文来讲就不好了。我这讲呢，我这英文也好一点，然后你们的英文也能好一点，是不是啊？未接来电啊？呀。
你真的不是你怕的。
很紧张。
那肯定妈妈的要紧张呀。商业取得既可以适用不动产，也可以适用动产。
对呀，他这里面还说了一个动产的产权的变更要求登记，什么样的动产的产权变更需要登记呢？汽车不是，汽车。
继续交付。
对，老妈。我在上课啊。你没事啊？没事啊，那行。那个小二来了吗？
来了，他得依赖你，我回那个。
好了，好了，我知道了，好了，
股权那些也是。
没什么事。
没什么事。
他是说不动产嘛，股权是股权是。
你把这个再翻过来，再调整一下这个声音。股权也算作 property 了，是不是？股权的所有权变更是需要登记的吗？
股权
变更是吧？
就所有权的变更是需要登记。
所有权的变更的话，它是以登记在那个股权名册里面，以股东名册里面作为它的那个。
但是有一个问题啊，就是我们的有限责任公司 the equity and limited liability company can be possessed by an agent。你可以由什么代持股啊？可以代持股的嘛？是不是啊？
股权属于动产。
And the registration of the equity, okay, the registration of the equity is only a proof of the ownership of those equities. It is not, but the law does not require the true ownership over the equity to be registered. Okay? 就是法律不要求股权的所有权变更一定是登记的，但是这是一个新的内容，是不是啊？大家想象一下。
不是。
因为我们股权是可以代持股的，你说的是股票吗？
是股权。
股权不是股
它是这样子意思，就是说，如果是说讲股权的转让是以什么为准？就刚才您说的以什么为准？它首先是以登记到股东名册那里为准啊。
如果没有登记到股东名册，是别人代持股，可不可以呢？
代持股它只是内部效力，对外没有，它对外是商事是公事，就是什么公事原则吧，还是说
公事公信原则，
公事公信原则。你内部怎么约定我不管，反正外部是谁就是谁，内部是内部决定的，分开，先外后内，内外有别的，对。
这里我们现在讨论的就是这个 物权是怎么获得的，是不是啊？the acquisition of ownership， 就是所有权，这可以吗？这摄像头，你看一下那面的摄像头是不是可以？你也看一下，可以是吧？能看清楚是吗？
关了的，关了
2个平台。
两个平台。
我看了，我直接关中看。
那块能看清楚吗？你看一下，可以吗？Everybody should keep that secretly. Okay. Okay. Article 312. Another owner or any other right holder has the right to recover a lost thing. Okay. A lost thing. An owner or any other right holder. And here the first one is the owner. Okay. And his right holder means I'm not the owner of this. I'm suppose I just rent this office from the owner, so I have the right to usufruct, right? Okay, and I am the right holder. I am the holder of the usufruct right of this office, right? Okay. And when suppose Miss Lin changed she signed a lease contract with the neighbor, okay, and changed the right holder of usufruct of this office without my agreement. Means she is the person who changed the right holder, but she does not have the right. Okay, and then I will have the right to tell the neighbor, okay, get my office back. Though I'm not the owner of this office, but I have the right to use this office, right? Okay, I can recover the thing or the ownership or the right in a property, right? Where the lost thing, and here this is a lost thing. When an item, you know item. Here we have the word item.东西 item, right? Item, a thing. Okay, when I lost it, okay, and when I have my glasses missing, when it is possessed by Mr. Liu, and then I will have the right to get it back, to recover the thing. Or when I have a right in this thing, I can recover what? Recover the right. Where the lost thing is possessed by another person by way of transfer. Means the possession can be changed in different ways, right? Okay. And transfer means selling or sales and purchase and sale, right? You translated the contracts, right? Sales and purchase contract. We always say sales contract or purchase contract, but the translator translated the 购销合同 into purchase and sales contract, sales or purchase contract. It's the same thing, right? One buyer, one seller, right? Where the lost thing is possessed by another person by way of transfer means when a person gets the ownership, gets the possession of a thing by paying price, right? By buying, by purchase. The right holder has the right to claim damages against the person who disposes of the thing without the right to disposition. Okay, without the right to disposition, to dispose it. Okay, the right to disposition. Okay, when you do not have the right to dispose of a thing and you dispose it, and of course you will make damage to the owner. And of course, the owner in such a situation will have the right to claim damages, to claim for compensation for the damages he suffered. Okay? Or to request the transferee to return the original thing within 2 years after the or to request the transferee means the buyer. Okay, the transferee means the buyer, to return the original thing. And here, why does this change in why they say transfer but not selling or buying? Why? And sometimes transference does not always refers to the situation that the buyer pays money. You understand me? That means I want to get your computer with my glasses. Okay, I give you my glasses and you give me your computer, and this is also transference. Right? Though there is no money paid. Though there is no money paid, we may exchange. I give you these glasses, okay, my glasses, I give it to you and you give me your computer. This is also transferred, right? This is also transferred, okay? Though it is not, the price is not paid. Okay, it is the exchanges of items, right? Transferee to return the original thing. He has two rights. The first one is to claim damages. He claims to be compensated for the losses he suffered, right? And the second one to request the buyer to return the original thing, okay? And here, he has the right to do so within 2 years or to return in 2 years. He has the right in 2 years, right? Not return it in 2 years. If it is the returning period of time is 2 years, that is not reasonable, right? And so within 2 years, commencing from the date on which the right holder knows or should have known of the transferee, the transferee read the Chinese. 刘律师，把这个中文读一下。
说一下是吧？
对。
所有权人或者其他权利人有权追回遗失物。该遗失物通过转让被他人占有的，权利人有权向无权处分人请求损害赔偿，或者自知道或者应当知道受让人之日起2年内向受让人请求返还原物。但是受让人
先不读那个，知道或者应当知道什么
？2年，知道或者应当知道受让人之日起2年内。
知道或应当知道
受让人
受让人
之日起。
knows or should have known who the transferee is, not known of the transferee. 小刘把我的电脑偷偷卖给你了，我早我就认识你，不能从认识那一天，是不是啊？只能是说我知道谁是那个受让人，
之日起，
是不是啊？
对啊，你虽然知道那个人，但是未必
知道有这个事情啊。
对啊，他处分啊。
他这里是不是只能择其一？
就是
说我如果向无权处分人请求了损害赔偿，我就不能向受让人请求返还原物。
No.
两个都可以吗
？Yes, both rights.
都可以。
他有两个权利，应该是两个权利。
这是选择的。
这是选择的吗？
这是可以选择。但你不能说两个都主张嘛？你拿了物，那你就不能说拿钱，除了那个物是折旧了还是什么？
你只把这一段再读一下，慢慢读。
所有权人或者其他权利人有权追回遗失物。这两个主体，第一是所有权人，第二是其他权利人，是有权追回遗失物。该遗失物通过转让被他人占有的，权利人有权向无权处分人请求损害赔偿，或者自知道或者应当知道受让人之日起2年内向受让人请求返还原物。
只能选择其一吗？
它这里是中文下面解释
这是或者
可以选择或者向无权处分人请求损害赔偿，或者这是在行使不算请求权。我也认为他这是在选择。
他这里面他用一个 or to request the transferee to return the original thing within 2 years, or to claim damages against the person who disposes of the thing. Okay, and then he has only one of the right. He has an option between the two, right? He has an option. 有一个选择权是吧？He has the option to request the transferee, that means the buyer, but把这个再读一下，因为它这里面有两个问题，这两个事情都是，那大家想一想啊，这个2年是管两个情况，还是只管一个？
我觉得啊，
只管后面那个。
我觉得只管后面那个，前面那个损害赔偿，
对他没有，
还是按3年的那个时效的问题。
Okay, right. For claiming damages, against the person with no right to dispose of the thing. The period he has for this right, 3 years? I do not think so. 3年吗？我把小刘的汽车给卖了，然后他向我主张权利的时间只有3年吗？
我觉得是。损害赔偿嘛，你也不是这个，也不是那个。
这是债的问题了。
这是债的问题，对。
Okay. And here he also have the right to request the buyer to request to claim, not request, to claim. A gain the transferee to return the original thing within 2 years from the date. Means, I don't think this is just. This is what? To request returning, to request returning of a thing. This is a what? This is a right in real, this is a real right, right? 这是一个物权啊，是不是啊？物权的请求的时间期限还短于了债权，你觉得公平吗？
物权它是不适用诉讼时效的。
But here,
Yes.
you have an option to request or to make a claim against the transferee to return the original thing.
它是不是为了保证交易的那个稳定性的，所以固定在这里啊，记住就好了。
Okay, I understand. To claim against the transferee to return the original thing within 2 years from the date on which and here we have an expression of period of time within which a conduct should be accomplished. Within 2 years from the date, okay, on which what? We always say this contract should be performed 3 days upon signature of this 3 days upon signature of this contract, right? 3 days upon means on. From the date. No. That is a point of time, right? And here there is 3 years from the date. This is also on, the same thing, on. This is also a point. 2 years period from this point means on this point, on which the right holder knows or should have known. We should learn all those expressions. Knows or should have known. Knows or should have known. And here we have the within 2 years from the date on what? Okay. Provided, however, suppose, however, that where the transferee has acquired the lost thing at auction, not auction. I make mistake in pronunciation sometimes. Auction, not auction. Auction. Auction means by an situation of auction, or from a qualified business operator. Business operator means you go to vehicle service station to buy a car that is reasonable. Okay, if you go to the countryside from a farmer's hand to buy a car at a price, and that means you did not buy in the public, okay? In an auction or a qualified business operator, the right holder shall at the same time of requesting the return of the original thing reimburse the expenses that have been paid by the transferee. In here, this is a new rule. However, just now we say the owner has two rights. The first one to claim against the person who does not have the right to dispose of the thing, to damages, okay? Claim for damages, right? The second one to request returning of the thing, right? The original thing. And the next one, but when in these situations, okay, where the transferee has acquired the lost thing at auction or from a qualified, the right holder shall still have the right to claim to return the original thing, but you should pay for the price to the transferee because this person has a good faith and bought it at a reasonable price, right? You understand that at auction or from a qualified business operator, okay? This is what we say in the public, right? In public, okay? And we may say this is the case the transferee has a good faith and pay reasonable price of the thing, right? Okay? And in this case, the owner still has the right to request or to claim against the transferee for returning the property, the original thing. But the right holder, at the time of requesting the return of the original thing, reimburse the expenses. Reimburse the expenses that have been paid by the transferee. Suppose I have lost my watch. I lost my watch, and someone, Miss Liu, goes to an auction and bought my watch, okay? But I have proof to prove this is mine, right? Okay, you paid 100,000. Okay, you paid 100,000 and you got this watch, and I prove that it belongs to me. And so I have the right to claim for returning of this watch to me, but you have bought it from the auction in the public and paid a reasonable price, and I've got to pay the price to you and get my watch back. This is a new rule, right? This is a new rule. This is a new rule. Reimburse the expenses the transferee paid. Okay. The right holder has, after having reimbursed the expenses, the expenses paid by the transferee, the right holder at this time, the right holder has the right to indemnification against the person who disposes of the thing without the right to dispose this disposition. Oh, they used very complicated words. This right holder has the right to be indemnified. Has the right to indemnification. It's okay. But when we miss words like so, and so, it is too complicated. Peter has the right to indemnification against the person who disposes the thing without the right. Suppose my son sold my watch, okay, at an auction. Okay, and Miss Liu bought this watch at the auction. Okay, I will pay Miss Liu the price she paid at the auction, right? And then I will have the right to get indemnified by my son because he did not have the right to dispose of my watch, right? This is the rule. This is new rule. This is reimbursed. And here we have several words. We've got to have a revision. The first one is damages. Damages. To claim damages. To be compensated for the damages or losses suffered, right? Damages, here we have the word. And then we have the word reimbursement, reimbursed, okay, reimbursed. And here we have another thing that is indemnification, indemnified, indemnity. Okay. In a contract, we may have a clause of indemnity. We may have a clause in a contract named indemnity. 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 In the clause of indemnity of a contract, we have what kind of rules? We have the rules when a breach of contract is committed by a party, he should bear what kind of liability. Okay? 我这么说大家没问题吧？
意思是，意思是。
就是我这么讲，你都完全能跟得上我说的。再慢一点啊。Indemnity can be a clause of a contract by which we will regulate what liabilities a party should bear when he commit a breach of the contract. Okay. In a contract, we may have such a clause. We normally have some such a clause named indemnity. In this clause, we regulate what kind of liabilities a party should bear when he commits a breach of the contract. Okay, this is what say indemnity, and has a right to indemnification. This is a noun. Means what? A right to indemnification means he has the right to be indemnified. We have another word that is indemnified. Indemnified. I have the right to be indemnified means to be compensated. Okay. Okay. And here we have the losses and reimbursement. This is reimburse. This is a verb, and we also have reimbursement. This is the noun form of reimburse. Okay. And here we also have the word expenses. Expenses paid by the transferee, the right to indemnification against the person who has no right to disposition. Okay. And here we have to dispose, and here we have disposition, right? Disposition, dispose. Indemnity, indemnify. Indemnity and indemnify. Indemnify and indemnification against the person who disposes the thing without the right to disposition, the right to indemnification, the right to disposition. You understand that, right? Okay. If you do have some difficulty to understand what I say when I teach the course in English, and so it doesn't matter, this is the first time we do it this way because we are having the lessons live on the internet, and so you've got to follow and follow and follow, and eventually it will be very easy for you. You will be accustomed to the speed I speak, and then everything will be so easy. But if I explain everything in Chinese, and so everything in your mind will be Chinese, you will only have the right to, you will only have the chance to remember some words or expressions that is far from learning the language. Okay, it is very far away from learning a language if you just try to memorize some words. You understand me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If I always explain all those words or expressions and try to make you understand the things, to memorize all the things, and my English will be going down. I've got to speak English, right? Okay. Okay. Article 313, 3133. Okay. After a bona fide transferee acquires the movable property, the original rights in the movable property is extinguished unless the bona fide transferee knows or should have known such right at the time of transfer. What does it mean? We have an expression here, bona fide. Bona fide means a person with good faith, in good faith, right? Okay. A bona fide transferee means the buyer in good faith, right? Okay. Acquires the movable property. Acquires the ownership or the title of a movable property. This is correct, right? Okay. After a bona fide transferee acquires the title of a movable property, the original rights in the movable property is extinguished. Right? And I am the owner of this office. Okay, I am the owner of this office. And Mr. Yang goes to an auction and bought this office, right? Okay. And then Mr. Yang will have all the rights, possession, usufruct, benefit, and disposition, all those rights in this office, right? Okay. Suppose before that, Miss Lin has a right in this office, okay? And then when Mr. Yang buys, when Mr. Yang gets the ownership of this right, this office, your right should extinguish, should be killed, okay? Unless Mr. Yang knows or should have known that you have a right in this. You understand me? Okay, suppose this office is leased from the owner. Okay, I rent this office from the owner, Miss Liu. Okay, suppose this is owned by Miss Liu, and now Miss Liu is transferring this office to Mr. Yang. Okay, and Miss Liu Mr. Yang knows that I am the tenant of this office. Okay, and then my rights to use this office should be respected. Okay, but when he does not know this, my right will be killed. But if he knows or should have known I have such a right in this office, my right to use this office will not be killed. Understand me? Unless the bona fide transferee knows or should have known of such rights at the time of transfer. When Mr. Yang buys this office, he knows or should have known that I am the tenant of this office, means I rent this office from Miss Liu. Okay, and then my right to use this office cannot be killed. Otherwise, he does not know. He does not know there is a tenant here. 有个租客佃户 okay, 佃户 tenant, okay, and then my right will be extinguished, but I will have a right. I will get a right, right? Right? Because I have 但是这租赁还不对，是不是啊？租赁买卖不破租赁啊。
动产。
那还有一个什么动产吧，动产嘛，买一个汽车吧，是不是啊？买一个汽车，我租这个汽车的，是不是啊？哎，这就没有问题了，是吧？哎，那租汽车也动产租赁也是不可买卖不破的，是吧？那我有个什么权利呢？这还真不好说，是不是啊？还有一个什么权利呢？使用权啊，每天使用这个汽车2小时，啊，就说这嘛，就是我这个权利不应该消灭，还能有什么权利呢？我在别人的物上面，除了拥有用益物权之外，还能有什么别的权利啊？啊？
抵押名呢？抵押
不能抵押吧？
嗯，
不能抵押吧？
什么？
啊？
为什么？
为什么？这东西不是你的，买卖不做租赁。
不是原有的权利消失了吗？
啊，有担保物权，
对啊，
是不是啊？
那就没有抵押了。
是啊，
是这个意思。
就是它是一个动产
嗯
的抵押物权，用我的手机担保，
嗯，
哎，
手机卖了，
我手机卖给别人了，
对啊，那就没有，
哎，是不是啊？
担保人那个抵押权人就没有，
抵押权人就没有了，是吧？
对啊，除非他知道，除非他受让时应当知道的事情。
是啊，OK。At the time of the transfer, when buying the property, okay? Article 314. Where a lost thing is found, it should be returned to its right holder. Where a lost thing is found, it should be returned to its holder. Holder. A lost thing is found, it should be returned to its holder, to its right holder. Ah, it is not always the owner. Okay, I am the tenant of this office, but the office cannot be lost, right? Suppose a watch. I rent this watch from Miss Liu, and I lost it. And then this watch is found. It should be returned to me to use it, okay? Because I rented from Miss Liu for 3 years. Within these 3 years, it should be returned to me because I am the right holder of this property. The founder should notify its right holder or hand it over to the relevant departments, such as the Department of Public Security. 哈哈，
为什么不直接翻译 police station？
The Chinese police station is different from 我跟你讲啊，
不是政治问题，
不是政治问题，就是我们的公安局、公安机关和过去的警察机关是不一样的，有什么区别我也不知道。
那以前民国叫警察署啊，那就是警察。
他们那叫什么都无所谓，世界叫啥都行。Because in Chinese我们不说警察局，那我发现好多广东人说警察局，他警察署什么的啊，因为他看那香港的电视剧看多了。
对，以前也是。
但是我们的那个警察机关呢叫公安局、公安厅、公安部，是不是啊？所以我们叫 security, public security.
那外国人看得懂吗？
they will believe it is not the police station. It is something like the
好像国安这种
security, the national security. National security means what? We will not
Homeland
discuss this.
security.
What?
Homeland security.
Homeland security.
这样子。
我们就不讨论这个东西了啊，因为这里面全世界可以看到，Where a lost thing is found, it should be returned to its right holder. The founder, in a timely manner, means in a timely manner at the earliest possible time. At the earliest possible time. And we have some words, okay? In timely manner, okay? And then immediately, okay? Immediately， 还不对吗
M 少了个 M。
？Double M，
double M，
immediately， and then promptly and punctually and on time, in time, and then what? Within a period of time, okay? And then there is a very famous movie. At the end of the movie, they say, you're almost entering Chinese territory. Please leave immediately. Okay? We explain this. Okay? But this is not, you may stay. That means what? You may stay here a little. Okay? And immediately you go. But not now. Okay, in there is a movie named 2012. Okay, run now, right? Okay, which is faster? Which is the soonest? Now, right? Now, get out of here now, right? Get out of here immediately. That means you may stay here a little longer. You understand me, right? This is quite different, okay? We have in a timely manner means what? At the earliest possible time. In a timely manner, okay? And we also have the saying as soon as possible, okay? In a timely manner. Immediately and promptly means when I see Mr. Liu at the first sight and then I turn around and run. I turn back and run. Means what? Promptly. Wow. So fast, right? Okay. Punctually means something that is in time. Okay? Or on time. Punctually. Punctual. What does punctual mean? 就是按时的，按时的。On time means on the point of time. In time means within a period of time. And here we also have within a period of time, in time, right? Within the time limit means in time, okay? And we also have other expressions, yeah. Commencing, commence, okay? Commence means from a point of time and go forward. That means commence. Okay? Commence means start and go. Start and go. Okay, this is the point. And I commence from here, going forward. Okay? And when we say begin, and now let's begin our class. When we begin and this beginning does not go forward, it is already begun. You understand me? Commencing and begin is different. Okay? Commencing from the time to, okay? And we also have another word, expire. Expire means to becoming shorter, and then end means expire. Means exhausted. Expire. We say the period of time is expired, or the time of effectiveness of this rule is expired, means it has been effective and coming forward. And now at this point, it gets its end. It is terminated. And you know the word terminator. Terminator. 终结者. Commands. We've got to know all those words used to modify time. Modify, 形容, 限制. Yeah, modify. You know the word modify. You know this word? Mode. You know mode? You know mode? There is a mode. Everything in it will become the same shape. Same shape. I almost say shame. The same shape. 同样的形。我这里面有个模子叫 mode. 模子. Okay? And then we modify it means to make something somehow. Modify. We say modify, not modify, but it is the same word, mode and modify. We've got to learn words in this way when we know what is mode. Mode is a verb to make something the same shape. Same shape, right? Mode. And then modify it means make the thing that kind of shape, right? To modify. Okay. In a timely manner, the finder shall notify its right holder or hand it over. Notify its holder. Notify the holder or hand it over to the relevant department. Relevant departments, we say relevant government agencies or relevant authorities. We do not say, and here departments means what? A part of a whole thing means a department, right? Right? The government is a whole thing, and we have authorities within the government, and those parts of the government is what we call a department, right? And so, but in English, we we always say government agencies or relevant authorities. Relevant authorities, such as department, we may say the Department of Public Security. Now, this is a new rule. This is a new rule, right? Originally, as to where you should hand it over to, is not required or regulated by law, right? And here, the law requires the only correct receiver of the lost thing is, we have two. The first one is the owner or the right holder of the thing. The other choice, the other option is to hand it over to the government agencies or the relevant authorities, right? You cannot hand it over to Mr. Shao. Okay, you understand me? You cannot go to other places or other institutions. Okay, so the law requires when you find something lost, when you find something that is lost, you should either hand it over to the right holder or the owner, or the government authorities, to the government agencies, right? Relevant authorities, such as, okay, 315. 15 minutes later will be ending.
Oh.
Okay, just 15 minutes. Okay, and here we have this article 315, where the relevant department receives a lost thing and knows who it is, who is right holder. The department shall, in a timely manner, notify him to collect the lost thing. Where the department does not know who the right holder, or who is the right holder, it shall issue a lost and found notice in a timely manner. Okay, though this is the civil code, it provides a duty to the government authorities. 在这儿你看到了吗？那国家机关啊，有个义务要干嘛？要公示，是不是啊？哎，它是个民法呀，这民法去要求政府机关要做什么？这是一个 This is also a new rule, but a new style. I have never met such a rule before. Okay, where the relevant department receives a lost thing, he should, and he knows who is his right holder. He knows. How to know? I lost my computer one day at the Beijing airport. I lost my computer there. Okay, and 3 days later, I made a phone call. I suddenly recognized my computer was lost somewhere, and I think hard, and I should have lost it at the Beijing airport. And then I made a telephone call there, and they will say, what is inside the computer? What is inside the computer? What is displayed? What is displayed here, there? And I gave the names of the items displayed on the screen. And I told them we have what kind of documents inside the computer, and they realized, yes, that is yours. And then they know who the lost computer belongs to. And then I made a phone call to my former classmates in Beijing, and he went to the airport and fetched the computer, the orange one, and posted it to me. But here, he gets to know, or he knows who the right okay, it's okay. Who is right holder is who is the right holder? It's okay. Okay, the department. We say just now we use the word authorities. I prefer authorities to departments. We do not mean departments of the government. All the time we use the word. We do not indicate the departments of the government with the word department, right? We say relevant authorities. When relevant or authorities, they say authority when an authority when a relevant authority receives a lost thing and knows who is the right holder. The authority each shall in a timely manner notify where a relevant authority receives a lost thing and knows who is we have so many subjects. We have the relevant authorities and the right holder and each shall in a timely notify the same to collect the lost thing. Okay, here we do not have mistakes now. Where a relevant authority receives a lost thing and knows who is the right holder, it shall in a timely manner notify the same to collect the lost thing. And the same means the right holder, right? Here is better, much better. Where the department does not know who the right holder, where the authority does not know who is the right holder, it shall issue a lost and found notice in a timely manner. Okay, in a timely manner. Shall issue, shall. And you know shall, has should, and should, the difference between shall and should.
更强烈一点。
Which one is stronger? Shall or should? Shall or should? Which one is stronger? Shall means you have the obligation. You have the obligation to do something, or you have the duty to do something. You should. Should means you have the duty and reason. And if you do not do that, that is not reasonably acceptable. And sometimes we may say we have some kind of thing of emotion in it. Emotion. 有情感在里面，是在法律里面不要用 in law or contract we seldom use must. Must. We have the word, we have several words. Shall, should, must, obliged to, required to do something. Okay? You're obliged means you have the obligation to do something, right? Okay. And sometimes we also have this be to do something. The last who leave this office is to lock the door. You understand me? We have an expression that is we're going to do something, 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 right? We're going to do something. That is be to do something. You are to close the door. You are to turn off the lights. You are to give me some water. Means this is not a request. This is an order. Order. You understand me? You are to do something. There's no change. This is not negotiation or consultancy. The consultation. You understand me? You are to do something. Okay? This is regulation or order. Okay? Okay. And so we have so many expressions.
为什么不能用 must？
Must.
刚才说不能，为什么不能用 must？
Must is ordinarily used, and most of the occasions it indicates a kind of there's nothing reasonable in it. We do not mean any reason in must in the word when we use must. Okay, and normally we use shall. The shall. Okay, when we say in Chinese, 甲方应当怎么样 Party A shall. Party A is to do something. 记住了，甲方应当怎么样，就是 Party A shall do something. Party A is to do something. 这种两种 should 我们尽量的不要用 should 是中国的英语常用的一个东西。我们在合同里面，在法律里面更多用的就是 shall， 就是应该。
那不是有一种命令式的口吻？
就是它这里面是有一点情绪在里面的，所以我们不用 should， 我们用 shall， 我们用 shall 就多了。
shall 就没有。
但实际上你知道吗 ？should 是 shall 的过去式，是不是啊？
对
，should 就是它的过去式，但是所以它用过去式就表达情感了，说 Can you give me a glass of water？Could you give me a glass of water？ 哪一个情感更多？过去式，这理解了吗？
更有礼貌一点。
不是更礼貌，它更表达感情一点。 是吧？更表达感情。Can you 和 could you 是不一样的，是吧？
就可能就说不太礼貌，很生硬嘛，就用 can。
也没有。Can I have your name, please？ 这都很客气的。Can I have your name, please？ 是不是啊？
以前老师教说尽量用 could， 不用。
你不要听你们的老师讲，
对，委婉一点，用 can 就没礼貌啊。
那不对也。Can I have your name, please？ 我可以知道你的名字吗
？Can I help you？ 我也不知道为什么没礼貌。
Can I help you？ 这有什么没礼貌的？所以中学老师讲那个基本上就是他就教你那么一点儿，让你往深了去想，你是不可能，你做不到的。你中学生，你说 by the way， 那顺便说一下，哪有顺便呢？顺着上厕所。这路上是不是啊？
一边走一边说。
by the way， 是不是啊？是不是啊？是吧？看一下到9点了。那 That's all for today. See you next time. 好了，今天的直播呢就到
这里合同是平等的嘛？你说用一种 to be to do， 你刚才不是说是有上下级的这种？
不是 be to do 没有上下级的意思，就是你应当你就要做，对不对？没有选择，
不是说命令那种下级，
不是没有命令的意思，没有命令的意思，就是强烈法律里面的强烈要求。我那东西哪儿去了？
结束直播。2个半钟。谢
谢大家 ，Thank you very much, everybody. That's the end of this class. Okay.
关掉。
Where? 没关系。OK。